All right, we have the Matthews family with us here. We've got some history together. We go back a ways, but they have a big history as far as ministry-wise, family-wise. So I'm going to let you kind of start with that, just kind of the history of your families and the background of ministry and what led you into where we're at today. So Scott, if you kind of give us a little background on that.
Brother Dan, my wife is Becky Rochester. She's Rochester, and I guess for almost 30 years, she and I traveled with her mom and dad and her brother, and they decided in the end of 21 to retire, and so that just kind of pushed us out as the Matthews family. We were already doing, since I guess 2015, 2016, we were already doing revivals and meetings apart from the Rochester schedule, burning the candle at both ends. And when they retired, the Lord just opened up a lot of doors for us to go, and we've been trying to go through them ever since. So it's been 2 years basically full time for us. So.
As the Matthews
as
family.
A Matthews
been
family,
traveling
yes,
for more than 30.
Yes, sir.
Our connection goes all the way back to Henderson, North Carolina.
That's it.
One of our first ministry.
Henderson.
That's correct.
That's it.
I added way too many letters.
You gotta say it right.
For those of you who are listening, you have to understand this is a place where they only have about 19, 20 letters in the alphabet, which is okay. It just takes a little bit getting used to.
You're missing a bunch.
They're just missing a bunch. In fact, those of you hear Nathan on the radio, you get the better side of that because he has learned over the years, but that was his informative language years. So there was some while there which he would miss a lot of letters, and there was a lot of screaming and hollering, homeschooling from his mom. But we managed to get through that. But Scott, you're from that area,
yes, sir.
And got some history there. You know, your grandfather and pastoring there, and so this is kind of where we met. And the Rochesters was always coming to the church there where we were at with Calvary, and it's just been great to see people serving in ministry for all these years. It's just, it's good to be able to have that. So tell us a little bit about as far as the, just being in ministry and what God's led you to, and obviously preaching. But tell us a little bit more about those 30 years.
Yeah, we, I don't even know. The Lord opened a lot of doors as the Rochesters. I did their bookings probably, the last 27, 28 years we were with the Rochesters. And through those connections, my family now, we probably still do, 80% Rochesters of the dates that had Rochesters in. And so a lot of new churches now. And the Lord's let us do some great places, great meetings, great churches. And I don't know, some of your favorite places, where would that be?
Oh, that's
I
hard
put
to
you on the
say.
spot. Put you on the spot. Come on in, girls. Leave them in here.
I leave a lot of times and I say that was my favorite place, and the next place is my favorite
My favorite
place.
place, yes. Well,
I have a lot of favorites.
You asked for the girls to lean in. So obviously 30 years ago when we first met, we were a little bit younger than we are now.
That's it. So,
and
Becky
so,
and myself are hitting this coming November. Will be 31 years. We'll be married. So
that is
November of '92.
So you guys got married just about a year and a half or so after we got married. So when we came to Henderson, Nathan was literally 6 weeks old when we took the position there at Henderson. So you've got some family members, some daughters with you. So introduce them.
Well, you know Becky.
Yeah.
This is our 18-year-old Morgan. This is our cousin Macy. She's a Rochester, and she started traveling with us during COVID, just off and on. When churches wasn't meeting, we still had some dates, some live stream services, and churches still had us in to do where we were just singing to a camera, no congregation, no crowd. And Macy was traveling with us because her dad was doing. At his church was doing all live stream stuff, and we still have our baby girl Mally. She turns 10 Sunday.
Wow.
Mally's with us, and then our other daughter Michaela and her husband Cogan. They have our grandson. He's 2, Haddon. They travel with us about half the time, Mondays through Wednesdays.
He pastors a church.
He pastors a church right by our house.
They can't travel all the time.
So they don't go with us all the time. But mainly it's the 5 of us. And Morgan's doing some songwriting. Her and Macy's some songwriting together. Mally's doing some songwriting. We still do several Rochester songs. And but the Lord seems to be blessing, and we're doing some things that we didn't get to do as part of the Rochesters. We started a camp meeting last year in Henderson.
Yes.
A lot of pastors ask us to come and just start a camp meeting. So we
Done
did
some
that last year.
mission
We've done
projects.
some mission work and went to Indian Reservation in Arizona to help in Indian Reservation. Going back in November, she and I are. And we did a camp, worked a camp, rebuilding a camp as far as getting some guys to come help us and do a lot of construction maintenance on the camp. So the Lord's opened a lot of doors for some revivals. We're preaching revivals just about every other week, I guess, or every week. And the girls are doing a lot of singing dates, so it's amazing.
Got a lot going on.
Yes, I tell you. Well, it's in ministry. I tell you, you in ministry. I know we run across this a lot of times. Boy, I'd love to do what you do, but then all right, come travel with us a little
We
bit.
ask them, it must be nice to travel around all over the country. I'd say, well, y'all can try it about a month. Try our
Go
schedule
ahead,
for
go
about a
ahead,
month.
People
and,
ask us, what do you do for vacation? We go home.
Yeah, I was going to say, yes.
Yeah.
I always say it's nice to go visit the house every
Yes.
once in a
Yeah.
while, so that's good. But I appreciate, the fact that what you guys do to get out there, and it is a calling. I mean, it is something that's a passion and a calling, and I appreciate that. And I love the fact that you've got the next generation writing songs in there, because again, the network, the radio network, it is all about reaching that next generation. We want that as the focal point of what we do. All of the music, the programming that we have is designed to really reach that younger generation. So we're excited to see younger generation. So I'm going to put y'all on the spot. Share a little bit about how you feel like you fit in ministry, and maybe as a young person, how that kind of impacted your life. Obviously, you grew up in it, but what are you seeing from your generation that you feel like you can be a part of and make a difference?
Well, I didn't actually grow up traveling. My dad pastored for several years since I was like 3, and then like you mentioned, I picked up some dates with the Rochesters during COVID. And the Lord really put that in my heart to travel and sing and work in music. And music's always been a huge part of my life. But then when I started traveling, the Lord really, sealed that. That's what I want to use you for. And so it's been a blessing to be able to serve in ministry with them and get to know them a little better. Even though their family, they traveled all the time growing up, so I didn't really get to hang out with them a lot. And so it's just been a joy to serve. So.
Well, my favorite part about the ministry is, growing up in it, you never knew what was coming next in life. It was always kind of a surprise of where you didn't know where you were going, and you're just getting on a bus and going. It's like, are we ever going to stay home? And sometimes you wish you could, but all of our best friends we met traveling, and I wouldn't trade any of it for anything. So it's been a blessing to get to reach a whole side of the country a lot of people won't ever get to see, and go to places a lot of people won't go, and, see people that, just amazing people there. And so it's been a blessing to be a part of it. So.
Good. Yeah, it's different when you travel, and you guys being out there, even being in a pastor's home, there's a certain amount that you see, but then when you get out there and start realizing it's not normal, but that's not a bad thing.
Yes.
Obviously our ministry has caused us to travel a lot. And so again, Nathan, that you hear on the radio all the time, until he went off to college, he did not realize that everybody doesn't travel all these places. They don't get to see all this stuff. You did what? You went where? You did what? And so it's just a great opportunity to be able to see different parts of the country. Being involved in mission work and stuff, you see things that you wouldn't normally see. And so I appreciate about all your ministry, and again, the history of y'all's ministry that is there. But again, is there something that you would, even to the young people, this could go to the elderly ones, that you feel like, hey, if they do this, that would help them realize finding what God wants in their life is the most important thing? Because again, one of the things that we've been pointing this out to a lot of people as we've done these interviews, and this is something our audience hears all the time, there's been some major research studies out there, both Christian and secular, dealing specifically with Gen Zs, which is pretty much anybody under the age of 30. and they have been amazed that the number one thing that keeps coming out, number two is so far away from number one, both in secular and from Christian interviews that they've done. The number one thing that keeps coming back, they just want somebody telling them the truth.
Yes.
They're just sitting there, look,
Be real.
Be real.
Be real.
We're seeing all
We don't
this
want
out
fake.
here.
Yeah.
This is all fake. We know it's fake. This is a generation that's grown up with the phone. They know it's fake. Somebody tell them the truth. So tell us a little bit as far as what would you say to be able to reach that generation and say, hey, it's real. Tell me what you guys have seen out there and maybe some things that will help them.
Well, you know, most of the things that we've seen is a lot of people think when you get into a ministry that life's just going to be super easy for you, you know, and then they get in it and it's not. It's not easy, and you have to put your force and keep pressing forward. You know, we have a purpose, we have a plan. God has a plan for our lives. He has a plan for everybody, and you can't give up on Him. He's never given up on us, so why would we give up on Him, you know? And so that's kind of a mindset you have to keep in your mind and have when you're traveling and stuff, because, you know, there's a lot of people out here that you don't understand why some people do the things they do, but, you know, you just have to realize that God has a plan for everything, and He's still worthy, whether somebody does something stupid, or, you know, in ministry or something, you know, you have to realize He's got a plan for you, so.
Yeah, and I just would like to add, you know, if this generation is looking for truth, you're never going to find a pure form of truth in the Word of God. And so that relationship with the Lord and your daily walk with the Lord is so important. And I feel like, you know, you've got a generation of people that are grasping for the truth and grasping for something deeper, and it's right there in front of you. And a lot of people overlook it because, you know, you just hear the thrown around, you know, read your Bible and pray every day, but there really is truth in that, and if you're looking for that, that's where it's at. So
It's amazing how I guess we see the last 3 years, since March of 2020. I don't ever want to bring that up as far as the word, the C word. But it showed how weak the churches are, the Christians are, as far as the denominations, whatever you want to call it. It showed how weak we would cave. And the news media has proven how lies are just floating around everywhere. And people are sitting at home thinking, man, we just want somebody to tell us the truth. We just want to hear facts, truth, and it's amazing, man, how the whole world can deceive, and you give them the truth, and it's like people are sitting on the edge of their seat. You know, give us more. We want to hear this, and now's the greatest time, I believe, in the history of Christians to reach a lost and dying world, because they are grasping. They are looking for real, for truth. We don't have to make this statement all the time. We don't have to act like Christians, because when you act, you're being something you're not. Just be a Christian. That's all you have to do. Be the salt and the light that the Lord has called us to be. And people are looking at you thinking, man, I want what they have. That's real. That's as real and genuine as it comes. And you know, I don't want to try to be somebody I'm not. I don't want to try to play this super spiritual role and, you know, think I'm walking around with a halo or whatever. I just want to be real in front of people, man. And the Lord can use the realness that we can be, and He can win somebody to Himself. And that's what we want. So
Good. Yeah, I definitely think with you girls, especially as you talk about that, it's real. It's there. And then when you know, like I said, I love that. I love that. I'm gonna steal that. Quit acting like Christians, just be one, because that's exactly what the world is saying. They're seeing actors.
yes, sir.
They see it all the time. They know what it is. They know what it looks like. And in spite of all the likes or the clicks and everything else, they know it's not real.
Yes, sir.
And they just think, well, I got to be in that. So to have a message of truth that makes that difference. And I appreciate that you guys do it both in song and in message to reach people and saying there is truth. And again, I hate using the C word. I had, you know, that whole thing.
Yeah.
But what men meant for evil, God meant for
Yes,
good. And I think there's been so many things that the church now, I think, has seen. I think a lot of us seeing, oh, we don't have answers. We didn't know what we were talking
it.
about. We've done some things. They're asking for it now. So now the church is asking for truth. The world is asking for truth. What better time to be out there? So
Right, yeah.
Becky's dad always used to say, this life that we do, the Christian life, the everyday living for God, dying to self, he'd always say, it's the hardest life he's ever lived, but it's the best life
yeah.
he's ever lived. So.
That is awesome, and that means a lot. Again, for those that we do, we still play some of the Rochesters, the things that you guys have done in the past, just because there's some great message in those songs. And things.
You know, we appreciate what you all do with the radio network and all that. You're going to places, putting us in places that we'll never get to go. Y'all are putting us in homes that we'll never get to reach, or putting us in front of people that we'll never know their names or their faces, but they get to hear a message or a song because of the avenue that the Lord allows you to go down, and we sure appreciate it. So.
Well, we promise you keep putting it out there. We'll keep putting it out there because it's needed. I mean, it's just the world needs it, and thanks to technology, it's going everywhere.
Yes,
I mean,
yes.
we're reaching an audience throughout the entire country. People are logging in thanks to technology, apps.
Yes,
This next generation, this is how they're listening.
That's it.
So we're definitely approaching that and getting there. So thank you guys for taking a few minutes to come and spend some time with us. Thank you for your friendship over these years, praying for you guys. And obviously anything we can do for you guys, you just let us know. We'll be a great help to you guys.
Appreciate y'all.
Thank y'all for
Thank you so
having
much.
us.
God bless y'all.
Thank you.